Okay guys, welcome back to another blockchain news video. Today we have number 21. Currently we're sitting at a quick pullback here with Bitcoin and most of the market. Bitcoin is looking at 9,752, which is a negative 2% pullback. Ethereum at 219, XRP right under 27 cents, Bitcoin Cash at 443, and Bitcoin SV is actually up 2% at $352. The rest of the market is looking pretty red right now. But again, just going back at that negative 2%, negative 3% at the most around the top 100 coins. Currently, BSV is up that 2.5%. We have Algo is up 6.5%. Nano is currently also in the green. Leo is in the green. BAT is actually up 8%. So pretty good moves there for some of the alts that are moving up there in the crypto market, even though we have Bitcoin pushing back and Ethereum pushing back quite a bit. But no big deal, guys. We did break 10K over the weekend. This is kind of understandable. It's kind of how the cryptocurrency market works, right? We have some run-ups and we have some move backwards. So that's perfectly fine. It's good to see volatility in the space and nothing really to panic about, even though there are some FUD articles that are running around. So going ahead and starting with the news today, we have IBM Blockchain VP, every dollar spent on blockchain will yield $15 on the cloud. At first, I didn't really comprehend what they meant by this, but essentially, blockchain is going to be enhancing, as we all know, a lot of the current applications that we have in the cloud to include how data is presented and analytics. So when you continue to modernize the cloud with movements like some of the ones that IBM has, where they're bringing in that Hyperledger fabric, that they created their own enterprise of blockchain projects, and they actually work pretty well with the current Kubernetes platform that is used for scaling cloud systems. So working out the kinks that we currently have in the space of tech, right, and adding blockchain is really going to be that next big step to keep getting more and more exposure, not only to the underlying technology, but cryptocurrency also as a whole. So it's good to see this kind of news. IBM continues to keep pushing forward. They're saying that the number of inbound projects have stabilized ever since that 2018 Wild West kind of time period we had. And that's good, because that means that the people that are getting involved now are actually providing a little bit more quality than what we saw during those times. So going into 2020, it looks like clients are getting a lot smarter. And that's obviously very healthy for the blockchain space. Moving forward, now we have Plasma has become Optimism under a new name and startup. So right now they're going to be going for a for-profit kind of setup. So they're not going to be that research group that we had before, where it was nonprofit under the Plasma group. And so now they're backed by 3.5 million from Paradigm and IDEO Collab Ventures. So right now there is some skepticism in the space. Of course, it is expected, because Plasma was not really put in place and adopted within the Ethereum ecosystem. So some people are already calling this movement as failure or death to Plasma, or sometimes that project that keeps taking different forms, so it doesn't just go away. Now, granted, that can be a little bit harsh in my opinion, because they have been passionate about Plasma when they were working on it. It's just that the issue is there's not enough funding, right? So if they already have this funding with the startup, I'm excited to see them push forward and continue to build. Hopefully they can apply some of the things that they wanted to scale within Ethereum, and they can actually get that on that second layer. They're going to be working above that base layer of Ethereum and trying to implement more scalability for the smart contracts to allow for some of the bigger things that we're expecting on Ethereum, like supply chain management, loans, and all that good stuff. So right now, take it with a grain of salt. We don't know exactly what they're going to achieve. Right now, they're currently in their OVM alpha, which is essentially going to be taking place, and then it's going to be heading for production. Of course, they got to make sure that it works with not only ETH 1.x, but also ETH 2.0, which will be coming soon. So they're going to be expected to keep on developing on their roadmap, and let's just see how things go. But their biggest concern really was how to have that revenue source, even though it was an open source software. So best of luck here for Optimism, and hopefully that does help the Ethereum network as a whole. Next up, we have hacked Italian exchange Altsbit to shut down in May 2020. So this exchange just lost 70,000 USD on February 5th. It was hacked, and now they have begun their refund processing as of February 10th, and it's going to be ending on May 8th, 2020. After that date, it will no longer be possible to request a refund with the platform because it will be terminated. So it sucks that exchanges keep getting hacked and stuff like that, but this is just a quick story and another reminder that, hey, keep your main holdings of crypto off of exchanges. You never know when things could go south. So those are the verified losses that they have for Bitcoin and Ether around that 70,000 USD level. And it's not that much compared to one of the biggest ones like we saw with South Korean exchange Coincheck, which lost about 500 million in 2018. So we've seen bigger numbers, but then again, 70,000 can be quite a chunk of change for an exchange. So let's see, moving forward, we have you can actually privately cash out of Bitcoin on these peer-to-peer exchanges for a premium. So some of these that we're going to be discussing in this quick article is going to be some that you can get. You can sell out of your Bitcoin, but you can definitely expect that to be either 1% to 15% below market price. So we got BISQ, HODL. Local Bitcoins actually went to a KYC system. Local Cryptos, AgoraDesk, and local.bitcoin.com. So they all have their own trade-offs. And for example, here in this first one, BISQ, you can get the client and connect it to Tor, but the issue is that there's not a lot of liquidity. So about 0.08 Bitcoin was traded out when news.bitcoin.com tested it. We have AgoraDesk is a different one, but it does have worst off reputation for some of their Cashouts being a little bit more expensive, so around 10% under the spot price for crypto. You also have local cryptos. It's been around for quite a bit. It's got a little bit of liquidity going on, and around $126,000 of crypto was shifted in the last 24 hours. So this one seems like it could be a good option for those of you that need to cash out with more privacy. Local Bitcoins does have KYC now. We have HODL. I never really heard of this one, but it seems like it can be reasonable, around 3% under market price. So that's not too bad. Local.bitcoin.com around 6% below spot for BCH, but there of course are some limits. So keep note of that, guys, in case you ever need that, in case you need to cash out privately. You never know when you might have an emergency. So just keep that in mind. Poloniex rolls back trading history after software bug causes a bunch of problems. So it seemed like Poloniex did rescind back 12 minutes of trading history because there was a bug that was executing trades incorrectly. So they went ahead and took that back and just returned the money to the people that had the trades open. They canceled any pending withdrawals and informed all the customers that were affected. So hopefully nothing too crazy out of this took place. We don't know the exact amounts that were traded, or if anybody did manage to withdraw that crypto, and then the effects that may have. But just be aware that this just took place here on Poloniex, which is actually a pretty reputable exchange. It's used here in the US. We have Bitcoin SV nodes crash hard following Genesis downgrade. So this one was pretty tough to read. We see now that there's only around 250 nodes since the Genesis hard fork took place on the 4th. And part of the reason is that 80 to 85 nodes seem to have started a new chain on their own. Another 30 or so were left behind in the process, and that left around 250 nodes securing the network. And that's actually all the way down from seeing 636 nodes 1 year ago. So that is a big change for Bitcoin SV, guys. That can either be taken one of two ways. You can obviously panic and think that, hey, the blockchain is in a bad step, or you could see it as a quick opportunity. If you're a miner that doesn't really have anywhere to go, you can probably get involved here and set up a node and see where it goes, right? So it's part of being early or being amongst the first few that takes place or takes part of a brand new project that could end up reaping a lot of rewards for some of you guys. And they did roll it all the way back to the initial Bitcoin version, and all block cap sizes have been removed. So that's actually pretty interesting to see. Let's see how Bitcoin SV holds up. It's actually in the green right now. Bitcoin SV tends to have a lot of volatility, moving up and down during the 24-hour period. Next up, we have BitGo expands cryptocurrency service to Europe. They're adding regulatory custody. So right now they have 2 new entities headed to Switzerland and Germany. They saw a lot of demand in Europe during the last year, so they're trying to do everything in their power to get set up over in Europe and make sure they're regulated within the specific jurisdictions. As we know, Europe has had their new anti-money laundering directive, and everybody's responding accordingly, but it is also allowing for countries within Europe to get excited, and a lot of companies are coming forth and banks saying that they want to get involved with blockchain and cryptocurrency, especially the digital assets. So that's pretty good. Switzerland actually had their own crypto bank dubbed as SEBA. And then we know that German banks have been voicing their interest in incorporating Bitcoin storage as a new future. So as a new feature, sorry about that, guys. But yeah, it should be pretty good here to see what BitGo is going to have and keep seeing that expansion into Europe. So we have OKB price skyrocketed over 40% as OKEx announces testnet for its decentralized exchange. Again, I think this is very good. I know Binance has been the leader in this, where they went ahead and launched their chain, and then they have the decentralized exchanges doing pretty good volume. A lot of people tend to use it. It's still a lot less than the centralized version of Binance, but you know, it is an option. Do I just think that, you know, OKEx is pretty much just kind of copying Binance through and through? I think so. But I guess the more competition, the better, perhaps, right? In this space, we can see if it's going to hold. It's going to have its own public chain called OKChain. So honestly, it just looks like a one-to-one copy from what I'm just reading, right? I haven't done my research, and if so, if you are a follower of this project and you're listening to me and thinking, wow, this guy's an idiot, hey, you know, comment down below, leave a link, and I can definitely check it out. But I guess from what I'm reading and what it comes off of, as it just feels like they're just taking after Binance. Binance has had some success, and I can't really hate on them for trying to do the same thing, right? It brings more liquidity into the space, into the DEX space, and it might just be a pretty good option for people. So that 40% gain on OKB seemed to be pretty good. And right now we've seen around a 564 million in trading over the past 24 hours. So pretty good there. Next up, we have Chainlink and Golem have been added to the custody service product of Gemini. So Gemini has been doing their custody since back in September, and then they've actually been regulated and they've had some good clearances in their sector. So they actually just received a SOC2 Type 2 certification, which I believe is the highest level, and they just look to maintain that right now. So that's a pretty big achievement. I believe they're the only ones in the crypto space, but also to see more additions of other coins and tokens being added to their custody product does show that even though these big institutions that are getting involved and they're looking to Bitcoin, they're also looking to what may be the next big thing, right? So keep that in mind if you're one of the smaller holders. Don't just, you know, buy into the hype of some of these coins. Really do your research, take the time to see what might be that next big project. And that's what I try to do, at least with my holdings, right? I try to really dig deep and figure out what might be that next big thing. Next up, we have Japan's state crypto is saying the sooner the better for creating their own central bank digital currency. Right now, they're feeling that pressure just because of China and how they've moved forward. But actually, Japan is planning to have their coin out and ready to go in the next 2 to 3 years, according to the chief of the research group on the banking system in the Liberal Democratic Party. So pretty interesting news there, guys. It's really getting more palpable how real this concept of CBDCs really is, and how they're just bringing things forward out for not only their own respective states, but also adding that pressure for the rest of the world. So it's good to see countries just feel that pressure so that they can actually get up with the program and expose their citizens to that digital currency concept. And of course, we know that's just going to breed more people coming over into the actual cryptocurrency space. So that's good news. It's good to see. And that's pretty much going to be it for this one, guys. It was a pretty short news day. There wasn't really a lot of heavy news going on, but I figured I'd cover some of these articles, keep you guys in the loop. If you enjoyed the video, just go ahead and click the like button below. I'd appreciate it if you could sub to the channel. It would really mean a lot to me for support, and that way you can stay connected for more news videos daily during Monday through Friday. And if you have any comments that you'd like to add, go ahead and do that down below. We can keep the conversation going, talk about some of these news articles and what we expect with Bitcoin going forward during this week. I'll see you guys on the next one.